In this video, I want to give you an overview of how our Xero connector for Dynamics 365 Sales can be configured and used. Firstly, I want to show you just how easy it is to set up a connection from Dynamics 365 Sales to Xero. From within the connector screen, the first thing we're going to do is click New Organization to establish a connection to Xero. At this point, we'll be redirected to Xero and prompted to log in. Upon doing this, Xero will ask us to grant consent to allow our connector to talk to Xero. At this point, we'll be redirected back to the Dynamics 365 app, where we'll see in a few moments the connection will refresh and be available to us to configure. At this point, we can pre-populate some default configuration items for this connection. It's worth noting here that we can establish multiple configurations to multiple different Xero organizations if we so wish. Once I've saved the configuration, I will now be able to start synchronizing orders and invoices from Dynamics 365 Sales to Xero. To synchronize an order from Dynamics 365 Sales to Xero, the first thing I'll do is create a new sales order as I normally would within Dynamics 365 Sales. As part of creating the order, I'll add products onto that order. As we can see here, the connector synchronizes our Xero product inventory down into Dynamics 365 Sales, so that's now available for me to use and add products directly onto this order. Additionally, I could use write-in products on this order, which would also be synchronized across onto the Xero invoice that will be created. In this example though, let's just use one of our inventory products that we have. Once that product is saved back to the order and I'm happy with the other details on there, I can then click the Sync to Xero button at the top to create that order as an invoice directly in Xero. Once that order has been successfully created as an invoice in Xero, I'll see a successful confirmation message returned back to me. We can also see on this sales order that its status has become invoiced and it has become read-only, so I can't make any further changes to this order within Dynamics 365 Sales. If I move over to the Xero application, we can now see we have a new invoice at the top of the list there for the order that I've just synchronized. You will notice that this invoice has been created in Xero in a draft state. We can configure this option to either automatically approve invoices upon creation in Xero or leave them in a draft state for manual approval. In this instance, the invoice needs manual approval, so I'll navigate into that invoice and click Approve within Xero. If I now switch back to Dynamics 365 Sales, you will see that there is a new invoice created in the system. Navigating through to that invoice, you will notice that there are some key pieces of information there pre-populated, such as the originating order and the fact that this invoice is now in an awaiting payment status. If we now switch back into Xero, we can add a payment onto that invoice, which will mark that invoice as fully paid within Xero. Now, if I switch back into Dynamics 365 Sales and refresh the invoice screen, we can now see that invoice has a status of paid and has been completed. Additionally, I can click through to the related section and view details of all of the payments that have been made against that invoice in Xero. So I hope that gives you a high-level overview of our Xero connector for Dynamics 365 Sales. If you do have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.